Hey, my guy Mike Ben already commented. How's that possible? Oh, that's because I'm late. What's poppin'? Let me make a poll. Hold on a second. Did you tell me something you learned this week? And give the video a like. Yes, sir. Yes. Yep. And I'm about to do it now. Okay. So I haven't done a live stream in like a month? Yeah, my life's been a little different. My life has been a little bit different, so I gotta adjust to my new schedule. Honestly, I might have to start doing the streams on Fridays. Yeah, I might have to start doing the streams on Friday nights because I work so early in the morning that it's not reasonable to do it on Sunday night because I need to be asleep. So unless I start doing it like early Sunday, but I don't know. I think I'll make a community post and see if people want to do it Friday night or like Sunday afternoon. And whichever one people say is better, then I'll just end up doing that. I guess right now I'm really talking for um, people that maybe watch this in the future because nobody's in here yet. So I'll wait to talk more until more people show up. Ugh, that's strong. Tiger's blood. A little too strong. Does say 14%. It's my fault. Didn't read the label. Did not read the label. All right, let me give it a couple minutes. Let some people show up. Anthony says, hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Hi, Jesus is Lord. Mortician? Are you actually a mortician? I don't know if you're saying meditate in English or in Spanish. Where are you from, Anthony? ¿De dónde es? Anthony. Man, guys, I just got done working out not too long ago. It's catching up to me. I was feeling energized. Now I'm just kind of exhausted. So if you see my energy just crash on the stream, you know what's up. Kawaii time. Hello. This is what happens when I take a break from streaming. The first one that I do when I come back, it always has like mad random people in it. It's like YouTube's like encouraging me to do it more. And they're like, we're gonna get you some interaction. And then the next time I do it, it'll be like my regulars. So I know I'm gonna have to deal with a bunch of random people in here this time. Hopefully all nice people, hopefully all people with manners and no rude people. You know, respectful people, cool people. What y'all up to though, man? It's a Wednesday night. I work for the government, so I got the day off tomorrow. Do y'all have the day off tomorrow, or y'all just up on YouTube, normal Wednesday? Jesus is Lord. What is your actual name? And I'm happy that you're nice. That's good. It's a good quality. You want to be a nice person in this world. Let's see. 2 people voted that they're about to do it now. Well, that means that you have to like the video and tell me something that you learned this week. You can't just like the video, bro. I need to know something that you learned. Enrich the community. By telling us something that you learned, you potentially could help other people to learn something else too. Hold on one second. My message failed. I need to text somebody back. It's because I sent the audio and then I got on this live stream. Google user is my other username. I don't want to know your username. I want to know your real name. Your actual name that your mother or father gave you. 1 second. Yeah, that audio is not gonna send, but it's okay. I think he'll be in the stream tonight, and I'll tell him that the audio didn't send. Okay, your name is Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine, that's what I'm gonna call you. What's up, Jasmine? How was your week? What are you doing? I just watched a dope video on Twitter. Y'all might have seen it on some of these social medias. There was this homeless kid. He was 17 years old, and he was crying. And he's basically just talking about how much of a struggle it was and how he didn't know what he was going to do. And then, like, 1 day later, he posted an update. People had raised hella money for him. And he was just... The coolest thing was that he was so happy about the emotional support. He said he felt like he had a community now. He wasn't even talking about the money. So I was like, good for him, man. I'm happy for him. Jessica Cortez. Hi, how are you doing? Jessica, where are you from? Jasmine is catching Pokemon in people's backyard. Yo, Mike, I was just saying, I sent you a voice note, and while I was on the stream, like I sent this voice note a long time ago, bro. I was on the stream and said, voice message failed to send. And so I clicked it, and yeah, it won't send. I think it's partially because I'm on the stream right now. So I replied to your Dominican video. How you say sets of sentadillas in Spanish? Serie. Las series. No, Mike, you're not gonna get it. That's what I'm saying. It didn't go through because I'm on the stream. So I have to like try to resend it when I get off of here. Or I could just tell you right now and you could just discard the voice note. You liked and sub, Jessica? Thanks. But you didn't answer my question. What's up? Where are you? How's your week? What are you doing? What are you up to? Yeah, Mike, if you want, I could just tell you everything I said. We could talk about it right now. I was just saying that I had went down a similar rabbit hole a long time ago, but with different countries. So I saw one video of like the Dominican dudes up in New York. What is their shit called? I don't know. They always be screaming "Popote." Like they always have like green on. I can't think of what that Dominican gang is called up in New York, but I watched a bunch of their stuff. But I watched a bunch of Puerto Rican and Colombian ones, and what I was telling you in the voice note was that I stopped watching them because it was like I'm gonna give myself anxiety, bro. Because like I was learning so much about like the Colombian laws and how when you're under 18, like they really can't do anything to you. They just like catch and release. So there was this kid in Cali. There still is. He still exists, like El Indio or something like that. And since he's like 12 years old, he got like 16 confirmed bodies by the police, but they're like, well, we can't put him in jail because he's a minor. So it's like they catch him, it's like they note the murder, and they put him back out there. And they're like, one day when you're not a minor anymore, we're going to catch you, and we're going to back charge you with all these murders that you did and lock you away for life. But until he's an adult, they just keep putting him back on the streets. And so I was telling you in the voice note that it made sense what they did with Miguel Uribe. They sent a 14-year-old to shoot him. And I was looking at the potential sentence, and they're like, if Miguel Uribe dies, he could potentially get 2 to 4 years for this. I'm like, 2 years for shooting a presidential candidate in the head in public? That is insane, bro. That does, like, yeah, bro. You tell me you're gonna give me 100K, and like the most I'm gonna sit for is 4 years, and you're 14 years old. You're like, yeah, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. You learn that dogs can't spit. That's true. If my dog tastes something nasty, he just go. He can't actually spit. I learned. Jessica, what does that say? I learned to reel a lot. Is that read? I don't know what that second part says. NDY. How old are you, Jessica? You might be speaking in like Gen Alpha or something. Yeah, Mike, it is insane. It's very insane. But I guess that's how it is everywhere, right? It's like those YNs, like those are the ones that are the most crazy because it's like they don't know enough about consequences, and they're young enough to know that if they do something that they probably won't lose the rest of their life, even if they gotta sit and do like 20. If you're 13, you'll still be in your 30s when you get out. That's a long time for somebody like me who values my life. But if you don't got nothing going on and you just gonna get street cred and potentially get out 15 years or something like that, 10, 15 years, and be a bigger figure in the streets, that's probably tempting. Not that they're the exact same, but Cubans and Dominicans are similar people groups, and Cuba has little to no crime. They have very strict draconian laws, and maybe the lax laws is causing the crime. Yeah, that's what I said in the voice note too. I was telling you that. What did I say? When I first got there and I was living there, Will would tell me at Oxford, he'll be like, yeah, well, the crime is the way it is because the laws are so lax. He's like, somebody could rob you, get caught, and they'll be back out in a week. What's to stop them from robbing you again? What's to stop them from robbing somebody else? Like a slap on the wrist is not going to do it. And to be honest, I thought he was being a little Colombian version of right wingers. You know, I thought that's what was going on. But the longer I stayed there, I was like, yeah, that's you got a point. And I don't think our system is way better because we institutionalize people, right? We fuck their minds up for the rest of their life. So even when they do get out in 10 years, they're gonna reoffend and be back in the jail. So I don't know. There needs to be like some middle ground. I don't know, man. You think they think it out that much or just acting off of instinct? I think it's a little bit of both. You know, they get groomed into that lifestyle, but part of the grooming is convincing them that they're gonna be well respected and that they're gonna get something at the end of it. You can trick a kid way easier than you can trick an adult. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna trick me and be like, "Hey, bro, just shoot this dude," and 20 years from now, you'll be considered like the OG. You'll be considered blah blah blah. Like somebody with nothing that's 12 years old, they might. I also learned that I can make a really impressive art with just really basic brushes, and I don't even know what that is. Ibis Paint X. Is that like the new Microsoft Paint? That's how old I am. I don't even know what you're talking about. I gotta look it up. We have harsh laws and motherfuckers still be on demon time. Yeah, and that's what I was saying about them not really understanding the consequences. Bro, I've watched so many videos of like 17-year-olds. Like for instance, I just watched a video like last week. 17-year-old sitting up in the interrogation room, and he's talking to like an attorney, not an attorney. He's talking to the investigator, and the investigator is like, "Yeah, so you know, you will be charged with murder." And he was like, "You're not gonna let me go home?" And the investigator was like, "No, you asked for a lawyer. You're being charged with murder." And he's like, "You said I was just coming in to talk." And he's like, "Yeah, but like you're being charged with murder." And he's like, so I can't go home? And the dude's like, no, you cannot go home. You're being charged with murder. And he's just like, I thought I was just coming in to talk, and then this, and that's just like he just like wasn't comprehending. Like, hey, bro, you killed someone. You don't get to just go home and sit around until your case and then go to jail for life afterwards. Like, no, it starts right now, bro. Like, you're being charged with murder. It has been a while, man. I started a new job. I gotta figure out how to make the streaming stuff work. Thinking about maybe doing it on Friday evenings. The Sunday evening thing's not gonna work anymore. I work way too early on Monday morning. Going to a language exchange tomorrow night. There are legit 13 Spanish speakers signed up, and I'm the only native English speaker. That is gonna be interesting. So I'm guessing they're all interested in learning English. Yeah, how's that gonna work, bro? Is that gonna be like a... I don't even know. Just finished high school. Got a job before the army. You still playing the saxophone, man? But yeah, Mike, he really said, "You're not gonna let me go home?" No, bro. You're staying here. They want to learn English. Schedule says 30 minutes English, 30 minutes Spanish per person. Hey, that's not gonna work. Unless, so I guess I would have to see like the rules, because it's just gonna turn into a group session for you, right? For 3 hours though. Yeah, that would just be y'all sitting in a circle, and then 30 minutes you talk to them in English, 30 minutes they talk to you in Spanish, and y'all just go back and forth like that. Piano, I got pretty good. The sax didn't work out because no teacher was available. Oh, wow. So you just picked up another instrument? You just like a natural instrument player? You just switched from the saxophone to a piano? English is not my mother language. I don't even live in an English-speaking country, but I bust my ass off every day to improve as much as I possibly can. Where are you from? It's gonna be weird. Just gonna be... I was wondering why you said what. Now I see you thought he said sex. Yeah, that would have been a totally different sentence. Yeah, you just gonna meet some new people. That could be cool depending on where they're from and depending on their personalities and stuff. Today, there was like a family day on base. So all the soldiers brought their families, and this one soldier was Dominican. And so I was like, I don't know if it was his cousins or friends or what, but he brought like 10 like teenage Dominican dudes, and I was helping them with some stuff, and I was like, these motherfuckers talk fast, bro. From Cuba, but you currently reside in Argentina. In Buenos Aires or where? Yeah, bro, Dominicans. You know how that goes, bro. First, it was like, oh, wow, you speak Spanish. And then it was just straight into straight Dominican slang. And I was like, hold on a second, bro. Hold on. You were getting worried, but you didn't text me? That's fake. You're like, damn, hope this guy isn't dead. I'm not gonna reach out, though. Nah, I'm good, man. I just started working a different job, so every weekend I just kept telling my wife like, I need to stream, and I just don't. Like I just literally haven't. Every Sunday, bro, I get done with my normal routine, and I'm like, I have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so no, no, not Buenos Aires. I'm living in Cordoba province. Okay, that's cool, man. How are you liking Argentina? Are you used to the accents yet? Are you used to the Che, boludo? Yo me llamo. What's the common name in Argentina? Yo me llamo Facundo. What time do I go to sleep to wake up at 4 a.m.? Are you asking me what time I should go to sleep or what time I actually go to sleep? Because those are two different things. Because I plan to go to sleep at 10. That never happens. So I end up falling asleep around 11. Get like Okay, so I say I wake up at 4, but really I push it and I push it until it's like 5, because I just need to show up like around 6 o'clock, a little bit before 6 o'clock, and I live like 10 minutes away, so more like 15 minutes away. So I end up getting up at like 5. So I try to go to sleep at 11 for sure. Sometimes that doesn't work out either. So I just come home and take a long ass nap because I get off like around 2 o'clock. But yeah, so when I think of streaming, um, on a Sunday night now, I'm just like, nah, bro, fuck no, I can't do it. So like I said, I'm gonna have to push it back to like Sunday afternoons. Um, or I'm gonna have to just do like Friday evenings, maybe. You pulled an all nighter. Yeah, I'm too old for that, bro. I don't think I will be able to survive. Like even like today, I went to sleep like closer to 12 last night, and I was at work just struggling, bro. Like there was points where I was like sitting at my desk, and I was like literally just like, I gotta get up and walk or something, bro, because I'm literally gonna just fall asleep and crash at my desk. Yeah, 6 is okay. 5 is like pushing it for me, bro. I swear I'll be like kind of tired all day. You killed the Argentinian accent, which is even more impressive for a non-native Spanish. Thanks, bro. Hey, you got great English, man. I don't know what it sounds like when you speak, obviously, but from the way you write, I imagine it's decent. I pulled an all-nighter 2 days in a row. Hell no, bro. I definitely can't do that. I think I did that like a couple times when I was in the army, but I was also really young. When you're young, it's a little bit easier to pull all-nighters. Don't ask me why. It just is. I legit would not be able to. I wouldn't be able to function after one all-nighter right now, bro. I just wouldn't. Started working a different job. Yeah, I decided I'm kissing landscaping goodbye. Oh wow. I'm either find me a remote customer service job or go back to the old company I used to work for. It was getting hot as fuck outside, huh? That shit sound like a good idea. You're like, man, fuck this, bro. Yeah, I started a different job. Like, I mean, it's still strength and conditioning. I'm just working directly for the government now. Um, they actually put a lot of restrictions on what I can say now. So I work with military members. I'm allowed to say that. So I'm contracted to train military members. I'm not gonna say what branch specifically, and I'm not gonna say what company specifically, but that's what I do: strength and conditioning for military members. I was up until 6 writing a paper. Had to tutor a kid at 9:30. Yeah, bro. Nah, my brain just literally wouldn't function the right way, bro. I just wouldn't. I mean, obviously, like if you do it, you just get through it. You just do what you have to do. But bro, I remember before I started this job. So I think Mike probably is the only one that knows that my last job, um, my closest coworker, the only one that I really talked to, she was Puerto Rican. So we would pretty much speak Spanish at the job all day. And I just remember one time I didn't get good sleep, and she was just like, "You can't speak either language today," because like I was just struggling. Like anytime she asked me something, she would ask me in English, and I would just be like, I can't think of like what I want to reply to that with. And then she'll ask me in Spanish, and I'll be like, no, no, no. It doesn't matter what language you ask it in. Like I'm just tired. Like I literally just can't think of the words that I want to say. So I just wasn't talking that day, bro. I was like staring off into the distance like the entire day. Oh, Juki, you have problems sleeping. So you didn't do it on purpose. You just couldn't go to sleep. You got insomnia. What motivated you to go for Spanish in the first place? I don't know. There's a lot that goes into that one. The first thing was that I had a client a long time. Oh, I guess it hasn't. It's not been that long. It was like 2020, I guess, 2019. I had a client that couldn't speak English, so when I was training her, we were like using Google Translate and stuff, and I was just getting fed up of like typing it, waiting for her to type it, and like hoping the translations were correct. So I just started getting her to, you know, at the time I didn't know anything. So I would like just demonstrate a squat, and I would like I knew enough to like say like como se dice, right? I would just say that all the time for any motion I did. And she would tell me, she would say las sentadillas, las flexiones, whatever, just any exercise that I did. And after she would tell me, I'll be like, oh, okay. Like the next day or the next session, I'll be like, oh, wow, I actually remember the word las sentadillas. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Like I'm actually learning. And that's how I kind of figured out, like, when I learn in context, it really works for me. I had tried like some stuff before, like online, like Duolingo and shit. It didn't really work for me the way I wanted it to. But with her, I was learning a lot. So then, um, I learned a lot with her and her husband because I trained both of them. And then my wife's parents, at the time, I was like just meeting her. My wife's parents speak Spanish. She speaks Spanish too, obviously. It's not. And then my friend in Colombia, during the quarantine, I paid him and I told him to just only speak to me in Spanish all day. So we would just sit on Skype all day, just talking in Spanish. And then I moved to Colombia after I got quote unquote what people would call fluent. I don't really use the word fluent because I just don't care to argue about what fluency is. But before I moved to Colombia, I could have full conversations in Spanish without switching to English or anything like that. I moved to Colombia. I lived there for a while, training people and stuff like that. And yeah, now I'm back. Sleep is one of the most important things to try to do every day. Yeah. It's like the most important thing you could do, bro. All your recovery processes, all your memory processes happen in your sleep. You could look up studies. For instance, since we're talking about language learning, if you're trying to learn a language, the better sleep you get, the better your memory will be for the stuff that you learn that day. Or if you take a nap after a study session, you'll see better retention of the words and concepts. Dead Sea Pirate in the house. Dead Sea Pirate, you always come in and you drop the craziest random line and then you delete it and then you come back the next live. The last time you were pretty normal. I remember you were talking like, we were talking about cities, so we're talking about Philadelphia and Albuquerque and stuff. But normally, this is what you do. You come in and drop a random saying or something, and I'll be like, what is this? All men should know what to do when you can't get to sleep. Hacerse la paja. That's, yeah, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do. I think I'm gonna stay on for at least an hour. I've done 30 minutes. Uh, stay on for at least an hour. I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so I'm chilling, y'all. I can stay on here all night, or at least until my wife tells me to get off. So who knows how long that is. But it's 10 o'clock here. I'm chilling. As long as y'all are talking, I'm gonna be talking. Am I off for Juneteenth? Hell yeah. Even if they didn't give me a day off, I still wouldn't have went to work. Mike, I don't know if you know this, bro. Because I found out this week, a lot of people don't know this. Like, most of my coworkers are of a different complexion, right? And most of them are not from Texas. So when they would bring up Juneteenth, they would be like, do you celebrate Juneteenth? You know, they're trying to like skate around the issue. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I've celebrated it my whole life. Like we do parades and make shirts and stuff. And they're like, for real? And they're like, I didn't even know what it was till like 5 years ago. And I'm like, bro, I'm from Texas and I'm black. I'm like, you know, Juneteenth like started here, bro. So like my family like legit celebrates Juneteenth. Like we were a part of that shit for real. Like ancestry. So I found out from some other people that are also of my complexion, but not from Texas. I found out that they didn't really celebrate it like that. And I said that makes sense. Like you're not from where it started at. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really make sense for you to celebrate it. It makes sense to know what it is and acknowledge it. And now that it's a federal holiday to take the day off. But yeah, when I meet people from other states, they're like, "Oh, y'all really like celebrate it," and I'm like, "Yeah, bro, like it really happened here. Like that's real history for us. Like it's not just something I learned about when I was 25 or something like." All right, I'm gonna give you like a crash course, Mike. If you want to look up more, you can. But essentially, the Emancipation Proclamation happened, right? Abraham Lincoln's like, "Hey, you need to let the slaves go." They didn't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was just a proclamation. But essentially, it's like any other process, right? They said it needs to happen, and then they basically said, but we're gonna give y'all time though. We're not gonna just tell y'all to release y'all slaves today, right? So over years, slaves are getting like freed from each plantation. The last place was Galveston, Texas. So a general came through and was like, y'all need to let him go, bro. This is the last batch. Like, it's done. Like, let him go. Or we're going to fuck y'all up. We're going to kill y'all. And so we were the last place, bro. We were the last place. And so that was when slavery was actually done, which is why we celebrate it here, because it happened in this state and it didn't happen that far away from here. Galveston's not that far away. So like I said, like I never really thought about it for other states, but I'm like you said, like you're from Georgia, bro. It makes sense that for you, it's not the same thing. Like it's literally not the same thing. Yeah. And that's what I find with a lot of people. It's like they know more or less like, yeah, everyone didn't get released on the same day. But they don't actually know that Juneteenth was the last day and it was in Texas. Why can't I see everyone's comments? I don't know. Maybe you need to change your filter. Hit all messages if you have that filter. I don't know. But yeah, so the last place was here, bro. Um, and like I said, when you're a part of something, you don't think about people that are not a part of it. Um, so for me, like I said, like, bro, we've been celebrating it for more than decades. Because that was the 1800s. We've been celebrating it since it happened. That's what I'm saying. Like for us, I don't want to say it's not real for the rest of the country, but like some dude in New York is like, I get the day off. But for us, we didn't have the day off. Like it wasn't a federal holiday. It's like we're gonna have parades. Like this has been celebrated since before I was born, since before my mom was born. Like this is a celebration. And it was just assumed that you wouldn't get the day off. Like honestly, when they started talking about making Juneteenth a federal holiday, I'm like, but they're not about to do that shit. Like that shit is like a pure black people holiday, and it's in Texas. I'm like that shit's never gonna be a holiday. So when they made it a holiday, I was like, well, that's weird. Uh, so yeah, we just had parades and stuff on the weekend. So like if Juneteenth, if June 19th fell on a Thursday like it does this week, um, we just we just would be like, okay, like this weekend is the parade though. So like I said, now that it's a federal holiday, it's a little weird. Especially because people don't know what it's really for and they don't really care to look into it. And I'm not gonna force them to, but it's just kind of weird when people are like taking the day off and they don't even know why they're taking the day off. I'm like, damn, that's kind of wild. Why do I feel like Texas doesn't get its just due when it comes to Black history? Yeah, I think it's just hard, man. I think it's hard to learn all of history. You know what I mean? There's always something that you're not gonna know. There's always something that gets misrepresented. Like you have to be a real deal historian, um, to know everything, and you still ain't gonna know everything. One thing that I didn't learn until I was an adult was and this is partially just because like I didn't do any critical thinking as a child for this issue. But it's the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. I was always told by, I don't want to say my parents, but I'm gonna say everyone in my community that they were intentionally given syphilis. That's what I was told my entire life. One day I just looked it up for myself, and I'm like, oh, that's not what happened. They already had syphilis, and they came in to get treated, and the doctors acted like they were treating them, but they didn't because they wanted to study what happens when it's untreated. Now, both of those are unethical, but it's just totally different. It's actually a different story. And so I just like being correct about stuff. I like having my thoughts on things, but having the facts about it. Cause to me, I'm like, it's still evil. But I didn't like that like for like 20 something years. I was telling people like, yeah, they injected black people with syphilis. I'm like, damn, how many people did I tell that to? Yeah, exactly. You always thought that because that's what everyone says, bro. It's like so repeated that it's like taken as fact now. And if you look it up, like all sources are gonna say that they already had syphilis. They were coming in for treatment, and the doctors just didn't treat it. They like it's essentially a placebo thing. They gave them like a sugar pill or something. They're like, yeah, this is penicillin. You should be fine. And then the people died and went blind and everything like that. That's how we know what we know about syphilis. But yeah, they acted like they injected them with syphilis. And honestly, when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, like how would they even? I just think about it. How would you get like 300 people to come in and like get an injection without being like, hey, what are you injecting me with? You know what I'm saying? Like I never really asked any questions. I just took it as facts. Like I learned about the Buffalo Soldiers and maybe a few other things, but that's it. Yeah. Axe is pissed she don't have it as a day off. You're not black anyway. You'll be alright. I heard a story about the general that showed up in Galveston notifying the slaves that they had been set free, but I was not aware that was the backstory of Juneteenth. Yeah, man, there's a lot of history in this country that, like I was just telling Mike, you'll probably never know. I like reading about history. I like reading about random shit, bro. And you are not 12% black. I'm happy I taught you most of the black history, though. Yeah, so they, like I said, they were not treated. I think everyone knows that. But everyone thinks that they were given the syphilis and then not treated. And like I said, equally is evil. So it kind of doesn't matter. I just don't like saying false things because like I feel like that's the first thing someone does um, when they try to break down your argument. They're like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like that's not what happened. And then if it's true that that's not what happened, then you're kind of in a position where you're like, damn, like you're right. So I can't even talk about the next thing because I was wrong about the whole basis of the experiment. You know what I'm saying? Um, and yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I've learned over the years. Not even just Black history, just American history, uh, Puerto Rican history, bombings, the move bombing in Philly. Like a lot of people, you'll see a lot of people say, like, I can't believe this country did that. Americans would never bomb their own people. And it's like move bombing. Look up the move bombing. Look up, there was a bombing in Puerto Rico. The Puerto Ricans were like basically saying like they wanted to separate themselves from the United States. The United States came in and bombed them motherfuckers, like to squash the rebellion. Look up the My Lai massacre. Oh, okay, you're teaching me something. I don't know what that is. I don't think that's American. What else was I gonna say? I learned a lot about sterilization in the something Americans did in Vietnam. Actually, I think I do know what you're talking about. I don't know it well, so I couldn't tell you what it was, and I would have to look it up again to be informed. But it sounded familiar when I read it, and I was like, but we're talking about American history right now. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Bro, the problem is there's been so many massacres. There's been so many massacres everywhere. And some of them you'll never hear about, and they're the worst ones. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I read a lot about sterilization, about Native women, um, in the Washington area, Alaska area, I think Hawaii too. Birth control when they were first experimenting and trying to figure it out. They just went to Puerto Rico and experimented on Puerto Rican women without their consent. Birth control exists because of the experiments that they did on Puerto Rican women. Didn't they experiment in Puerto Rico? Yep, exactly. So a lot of stuff like that, man. A lot of our medicine, a lot of shit that's not even medicine anymore. LSD. You look up the shit that they did to soldiers with LSD, bro, without their consent. They were not telling people that they were drugging them with LSD in the army. Essentially like government property. They're like, we don't give a fuck. They were giving people LSD to study the effects and not telling them. That shit will fry your brain, bro. And there's probably somebody on here right now. Like, I do LSD all the time. That's cool. I think it's a little bit different if you know you're taking it too. Imagine if you started hallucinating and shit and you're under the impression that you never took a drug. It's crazy. So, yeah, man, I'm not like a anti-United States person. And I probably never will be. But we definitely have a history, man. I actually hate the fact that you can't talk about history without it seeming like you're like not patriotic. I'm just like, bro, it's just shit that happened. Like this shit that we did. I think we should admit that we fucked some stuff up, bro. I ain't do it, but I'm gonna say we fucked some stuff up because it's the country I live in. I love LSD every Saturday night. I'm sending that to your HR. See what they think about that. What else? Yeah, you start going into massacres all around the world, bro. So many massacres, so many war crimes committed. Could do that shit for days, bro. Not that I don't think Hitler was a bad guy, but if you compare Hitler to like people like King Leopold, that was up in, I guess what would be the Democratic Republic of Congo now. This motherfucker killed millions on millions of people there, bro. King Leopold from Belgium, making kids go on the mines, cutting their arms off and shit, bro. And it's like, yeah, he killed 12 million people, but that was different. That was different. Caleb Edits, what's up, bro? We just up in here talking about history right now. I think me and Mike before have talked about Unit 731 in Japan. Them motherfuckers was going so crazy. The Nazis were writing back to Hitler like, hey, we gotta shut this shit down. Can you imagine somebody writing to Hitler and saying, we're witnessing atrocities that we've never seen before. We gotta stop these guys. We have to. That's crazy. You freaked out the people that do experiments on humans. They're like, all right, yeah, we killed some people, but this is too much, man. Freaking out Nazis. What else? What else have I read about history that people typically don't know? You do wonder what the Revolutionary War was like. I don't know, man. One time I read that Paul Revere didn't really say the British are coming. That pissed me off. I hate when shit that's like super popular is just not true. That really pisses me off. Did you read my message from like 10 minutes ago? That's basically what I said. No, I didn't see that message. Let me see. Galveston. Started working a different job. Bro, whatever you said, you must have said something that triggered YouTube. Oh, yeah. Y'all, if y'all don't know the Guatemala Banana War, look it up. It's fucked up, man. It's so fucked up that Axa actually doesn't like when I talk about it. I've sent her TikToks about it before, and she's like, don't send me this shit. So, but yeah, shit like that. I love when people talk about corruption in other countries, and I'm just like, bro, we like funded the topple, like we funded the people that toppled their government. So like every time they tried to do it the right way, the CIA fucked them up. So it's like, yeah, why can't they just? And it's like, bro, come on, man. And if you talk about that stuff, it's like, again, it seems anti-patriotic. It seems like you're defending the other side, and it's like, I'm not defending it. I'm just talking about what happened. And then, you know, like even Haiti, bro, like we orchestrated the assassination of their president, what, 3 years ago? That shit's still happening, bro. America has won a lot of wars like World War I and maybe II. Depends on what you say winning is, but yeah. We did pretty well in those wars. The US did that? Hell yeah. You didn't know that? That's not even like speculation. Like you know, sometimes you're like, oh, the CIA probably did that. That's not speculation. They caught dudes that did it. There was like, if you look it up, like Google right now, US involvement, Haiti president assassination. The people that got caught were Americans and Colombians. It was an assassination team of Colombians and Americans. What the motive was, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm saying. That's actually what I talk about when I say, for instance, Haiti. Like literally Haiti. People talk about how like savage they are, and they're like, they're so unlawful and they're fucking so poor. And I'm just like, yeah, every time they try to do something positive, shit like that happens. And if you bring that up, it's like, well, they would have been like that anyways. And it's like, how do we know? And if that's the case, why are we killing their president? If he was going to do that anyways, what was the point of us assassinating him? Maybe because he was going to take the country in a positive direction. Maybe because he was going to break ties with the United States. You look at, you just type in Haiti donation corruption. Wyclef Jean. I can't think of like the aid companies that give money, but all of those companies didn't give the money to Haiti. So Wyclef John got accused, or not accused, he got convicted of fraud. A lot of those companies that were raising money for Haiti after the earthquake, fraud, didn't give them the money. And then people will use that as, they'll try to use that as facts. Like, we raised $3 billion for them. How come they haven't taken themselves out of poverty? It's like, bro, they didn't get any of the money. On top of that, a lot of people don't know. Mike probably does, I imagine. Maybe Rolando does too. You know, Haiti had the first successful revolution out of everybody, right? So they actually overthrew their slave masters. Fast forward, France was like, cool, y'all are free. Problem is, now my slave owners are losing money. So they said, we're going to leave y'all be. We're not going to send more fleets over there. Only thing is, you owe us money now. And the amount of money that they owe, someone will have to Google it for me because I don't know it off the top of my head. But today, it's in the multi-billions, the amount of money that they owed back then. So when people talk about their poverty, it's like, yeah, well, they started off in billions of dollars of debt from freeing themselves. So it's not like they freed themselves and it's like, we're free to start with a fruitful economy. It's like, yeah, we're free, but we're fucked now. And they helped free Colombia, Venezuela, Panama, Ecuador, Peru. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. Didn't they kill all the French on the island? I've heard that, but I don't know if it's true. You almost broke your leg. Damn, bro, what you doing? I don't know about all the French, but they overthrew them for sure. It was a well coordinated attack and war. So I actually taught Axe about that too. But yeah, that's one of them reasons. That's one of the reasons in America they were like, slaves cannot read and they cannot get in groups of bigger than 2. They had laws about that shit, but they were not playing. Yeah, you know they were scared as fuck, bro. That's like Nat Turner, bro. When Nat Turner did that here, but they still talk about the stories to this day, like, because they were so scared. They were just like, oh no, like these motherfuckers done figured it out. And that's the same mindset that they try to like discourage to this day. Like, at some point, if you realize that you're actually the majority, if you're like, yo, all of us are poor, and I'm not encouraging anything, by the way, just in case someone tries to report me. It's like, okay, the country's struggling. All of y'all are poor. Millions of us are poor. There's like 5 rich dudes. We can fuck them up. Like, we can fuck them up. We would have to agree to it. We can't do it one by one because we're going to get picked off. But like, literally, what can they do? Like, if all 100 million of us that are, you know, living below middle class are just like, yeah, let's go get them. Let's go get them today. They can't do shit. Yeah, that's why they love to promote division. You sound like a Bug's Life. Yeah, that speech by Hopper. He's like, what about this? Does this hurt? Does this? And he's like, no. And then he's just like, I always thought about that when I was a kid. I was like, yo, Hopper's actually scared. The day that they realize that they outnumber us. Damn, my whoop just said I need to get in bed by 11:52. Oh, I got time. Have you ever seen the movie New Order? It's the movie where the Mexican working class overthrow the people over them. No, I've never seen that. We had a couple movies like that. Honestly, I think most of the movies we grew up with were like that. I can't think of any of them, but I think Ants was like that too, because Ants is basically a bug life. So he was looking for utopia, but he was a worker ant. He was basically like, you know what, fuck this, like I'm over it. I think a lot of the stuff we grew up with had those subliminal messages. Even stuff like Toy Story. It's like Buzz Lightyear was basically like, bruh, I'm not trying to just like. Essentially, he was working a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to sit and do nothing for this time. He's like, bro, I'm trying to bust up out of this bitch. Like, I'm trying to leave this house. I feel that, bro. I used to think he was tripping. Now I look back on it, I'm like, yo, Woody was really a hoe, bro. He wanted him to conform so bad. He's like, you're a toy, bro. Sit your ass down and shut up. Buzz was like, nah, dog. I'm trying to fly out the house. Send you the trailer for New Order. Yeah, I'll watch it. Mr. Incredible when he snapped because his boss told him he needed to reject people's insurance claims. Was that really our generation though? I feel like that came out when I was older. But still, yeah, very true. I remember when people realized that all the superheroes died. I was like, what'd you think happened to them, bro? Like, yeah, they got killed. Same deal with Shrek. What are you saying about Shrek? I'm thinking. I mean, obviously, like Laura Farquaad was royalty and Shrek was poor. But what's the hidden message there? But yeah, I mean, I feel like everything we watched was like that. And honestly, I really feel like not to diss like the kids, the youth, but man, I feel like literary analysis and just thinking beyond the surface is like gone down the drain, bro. Like if you like for example, like let's just say The Matrix. If you posted The Matrix today, if The Matrix came out today and you posted it and you said this is a movie about uh breaking free from the boundaries of society and blah 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 and breaking free from the working class and whatever. Someone will reply and just be like, it's not that fucking deep, you nerd. It's just a movie about fighting. And it'll be like, no, it's not. Like that's literally not how books and movies work. Like there is a deeper message. It's not like me being woke and making shit up, bro. Like that's the whole point of stories. Like the story has a moral. Like that's why we tell stories. Like some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I'm gonna send you an analysis about Shrek in Spanish. Me and Axel went to Angelo Colina's show in Austin this weekend, and he asked this dude had he seen Shrek in English and Spanish, and he asked him which one was better, and I'm like, of course he's gonna say Spanish. We're at a Spanish show, bro. But the Spanish Shrek actually was better. It's a lot better. Some kids would get it, most wouldn't. Man, you know what? I read a tweet from an author, and she said she keeps getting her book rejected because the publisher is like, hey, kids these days don't understand. I can't think of what the actual word is, but basically, the omniscient narrator that's like, he woke up this morning at 9 o'clock, not knowing that this was gonna happen. They can't understand it. They like freak out and they're like, well, this doesn't make sense. Like, how does he know that something's gonna happen to him later? Like, that's impossible. And I was like, what? Like, that's how narrators have always worked. So you have to write stories from like first person now. Like, you can't do the third person thing where the narrator knows stuff that the characters don't know. And I could not wrap my mind around that. I was looking through the comments, and like other people my age were just like, "What the fuck do you mean they don't understand it? Like, what is there to understand or not understand? The narrator, like, you wrote the book, you know what's gonna happen. The narrator can say things that the characters don't know." It was stressing me out, bro. I just stopped. I just was like, okay, kids don't understand uh, the omnipotent, omniscient narrator thing. I don't know which one is the proper term for this, but did you go see Sinners? Yes, me and Axel went to go see Sinners. Amazing movie. I need to watch Spanish Shrek then. Yeah, it's good, man. You'll like it. I do think we have to be careful not to fall into the kids nowadays via home mindset. Every generation says that about the next. Technology definitely has influenced it now. For sure. Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. I think now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I feel it. I feel some of the stuff that old people said about relying on technology. Um, I definitely feel some of the stuff they said. Like when I see like how much kids are like dependent on Chat GPT, um, I'm like, you know that shit is not. It's not the truth. It's a language learning model. Like it can be wrong. Like people like use that shit as evidence in an argument, and I'm like, it's just straight up wrong, bro. I've seen the movie. Like you can like people on Twitter. The shit is called Grok. It's like the Chat GPT for Twitter, and someone will be like, Grok, is this movie called this? And I'll be like, no. I'm like, Grok's wrong. I've seen the movie, bro. It's called The Matrix 2. Like I know the movie. I watched it 100 times, and they're like, well, Grok says this is this movie. And I'm like, but it's not. Like the shit is just wrong. It's a machine and it's trying to analyze a scene and it thinks it's this movie, but it's not. And they're like, well, why would Grok say that? It's just wrong. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I'm like, it can be wrong. Like just like a human can be wrong. And like the thing too is like what I try to tell them in the Spanish group chat, because sometimes they'll be like, well, Chat GPT says this. And I'll be like, the thing is, Chat GPT is as smart as the prompt. So if you ask it the wrong thing, it's right about the answer it gives you, but it's wrong because you asked it the wrong question. You get what I'm saying? So it's not so much the technology's fault as it is your fault. But if you were more of a critical thinker, if you weren't relying on the technology so much, you would have asked the right question, or you just wouldn't have used it. Like I don't use Chat GPT that much, but if I do, I would rather ask it for sources than I would a straight up answer to something, because I wouldn't even trust the answer. I'd be like, "Where'd you get that from? I want to read it." You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Chat GPT is their therapy to being their friend. I don't even want to talk about that because I read some stuff today where I was like, "This is insane." This dude's on a he's on a he was on a news story today because he asked Chat GPT to be his girlfriend and it said yes, and he was emotional. And I was like, it's not a person, bro. And then I saw these videos. I sent them to you, Axel. It was a girl that was like going on dates, and she was like, "Don't worry, guys." She's like, "I got Chat GPT as my consultant or something like that." She was like asking Chat GPT if this guy was gonna be a good match for her based on. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck does Chat GPT know? Like, you asking Chat GPT, do you and this dude have chemistry? Just do y'all have chemistry or not? Why are you asking the phone if you like the dude? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Chat GPT is a quicker way to use Google. Well, it's the same problem as Google, because that's what I tell people about Google too. Like, Google also serves your confirmation bias. Like, if you say, is this true? And you type it in, you probably will find a source that says that you're correct. But you could also type, is this a lie? The people don't do that. They look for the thing that they want. And they say, this happened. Yeah. So I don't hate her using ChatGPT. She's lying. I think ChatGPT is bad if you don't have critical thinking skills. I know a guy that doesn't even program his own workouts anymore. He uses ChatGPT to create everything. I mean, that's what I'm saying. People are starting to do that for everything. And just like I said about the Spanish group chat, luckily for me, I'm an expert in strength and conditioning. So I could look at something that ChatGPT said and I could tell someone like, hey, ChatGPT is just pulling information from Google. And I noticed because a professional would have never put these two exercises together for this reason. But a regular person is not going to be able to tell you that. So you're going to look at the workout and say, this is a great workout. I would have never thought of this myself. Probably the same way, like if I ask ChatGPT for like some medical shit, I won't be able to discern what's good and what's not because I didn't go to medical school. So I'm just going to be like, wow, I just got all this free medical advice from ChatGPT. And don't get me wrong, some of that stuff can be good, but yeah, no. Yeah, you also ask it for citations. I think that's the way to go, man. So that you don't have to look for them yourself. I just be like, hey, can you give me some good resources on this subject? I'll look them up myself. Uh, sorry, Mike. Y'all started leaving a lot of comments. Sinners was really good. I think people got the message wrong. But then again, like art is opinion, right? It's subjective. So I can't tell them they got it wrong. But I think they didn't think deep enough. For one, I loved it because it was so southern, right? Um, like Axel wasn't understanding half of that shit. I already know. She was asking me like, "What did he say?" But I think people like because it was called sinners, people automatically went to saying like they were all sinners and they're going to hell and blah blah blah. But I was like, bro, one thing that I took from it was that like praying is not enough. Like a lot of stuff is in the actions that you do, and like your connection with God is your connection with God. Like a lot of people thought that Sammy was a sinner, and I said I don't think Sammy is a sinner. I think he felt like his music was his connection to God, and you could see that it had like a magic, right? His ancestors popped up, the future popped up, and the devil, uh, what was his name, Remick? Remick wanted that gift from God, and Sammy wasn't giving it up to him. Now, when Sammy finally got caught at the end, I always tell Axel in every movie there's a baptism scene. It's symbolic. It means that your life is changing, blah, blah, blah. Remick baptized him. He dunked him under the water. Sammy was praying, and Remick basically told him, that shit don't work, bro. Like, that's the same prayers that we said in Ireland when they fucked us up. Because his people went through the same thing, right? Um, and the prayer didn't work. The guitar worked. The instrument that Sammy got from God, his personal connection with God, is what killed Remick. He stabbed him with it. And that's why he didn't want to let it go. People were like, oh, he didn't want to let that life of sin go. He wanted to go live that life of sin. I'm like, no, he realized that God gave him that gift. And that's what saved his life, actually. And so when his dad's like, just drop it, he's like, yeah, nah, fuck that. Like, this is God, bro. Like, you trying to make me conform to your version of religion inside of the church. And he's like, this is God. On top of that, we know that, I don't remember which twin survived, but we know that him and the shorty both survived, and they were living life as vampires, and they never touched him, and he got to live on through his music, which means that he still had that protection from God as long as he was playing. They even came to the bar and wanted to hear him play again. And he never got touched by them. And they even tempted him again and said, hey, we could he basically said I could hear your heart or something like that. You don't got that much time left. He said I could stop that. Sammy said no. So when people say he was a sinner, I'm like, Bruh, if he wanted to go to that life, he could have. He had multiple opportunities. He had the early opportunity and he had the opportunity at the end of his life. And I'm like, he never did. So I'm like, I'm confused on why y'all calling him a sinner. Like, he actually wasn't a sinner. Besides the fornication, I guess. Oh yeah, Axel. Yeah, Axel was hella confused up in that joint. Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, I like the movie. I think there was a lot of like uh colonization messages too and culture vulture messages that I think were like secondary messages. Like Remick, he couldn't appreciate without taking, right? Which is like what culture vultures do. He didn't want to just listen to the music. He wanted to have that shit. Like, he couldn't understand that like by assimilating all of them, by taking Sammy, if he would have taken Sammy, you diluting that shit. Like he wouldn't be Sammy no more. The music wouldn't even be magical. Like you would have brought that shit into your little Irish jig. You would have brought him into the group, and he wouldn't be Sammy no more. He wouldn't be making unique music. But he couldn't. Like that was where he was at. He was like, I need that. I want to be a part of this. I want you to be a part of me. So yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of messages in there. There was like to me, there was the message, black people always like white people do anything and it's like, oh, you invited to the cookout. And there was a message there, like, bro, everybody don't need to be a part of everything. Just because a motherfucker playing music don't mean they need to come inside. Like, oh wow, you like music too? Come on in. Like, nah, bro. You had a weird feeling about them, they should have stayed out. You know what I'm saying? Even the message, they were vampires, but the message was they had to be invited in. They couldn't come in without your permission. And they got let in and they fucked everything up. You know what I mean? So had they just kept them out, that wouldn't have happened. What was the other thing that I got from it? The indigenous people in the beginning, man, they should make a. I would watch like a prequel or a sequel about them. Cause I was telling Axel, I'm like, how bad were they beating his ass that he was willing to run in the sun? Cause if you remember, he was getting burnt the fuck up. Like he was flying and falling because he was flying in the sun, and his skin was all burnt up because he was trying to get away from them so bad. And he had a black eye, and that's when he knocked on the Klansman house, and he like, please let me in. And he saw the Klan. I think so. I think what he said was like partially true when they said, "Are you racist?" And he was like, "No." Like I think he wasn't racist because he saw that they had Klan hoods up in the house, and I think that's when he made his decision. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill them. But yeah, them indigenous people had to be fucking him up, bro, because he was willing to run in the sun, and he almost didn't survive. So I would like to know um, what they were doing to him. They clearly knew what he was, and yeah, I also like the fact that the indigenous people also saw the hoods. They realized they were Klan, and they were like, "All right, y'all got it. Have a nice day." Sure, he's not in there. We believe you, and they just left. They're like, "Let's go home, bro." We tried to help him. So yeah, I feel like there was a lot of messages in there, man. It's a great movie. Great movie. Honestly, that's one of the few movies in like I can say in like the last decade that I watched where I wasn't disappointed based on the hype. Because when you have expectations, it's really hard for something to live up to it. And so I'm seeing all kinds of people on Twitter, TikTok, like, I gotta go see Sinners, I gotta go see Sinners. And I'm like, man, this shit gonna be whack. Because there's too many people saying it's good. And I was like, that was good, bro. Like I actually went in with some expectations and it was still good. So that's how I know it was good. Had I gone in there with no expectations, it would have been super great. And I still think it was great. But I went in with high expectations and it still um exceeded my expectations. So I think it was a great movie, honestly. I haven't seen a movie that good in years. Yeah, I agree. Facts. Like, absolutely. I left thinking like that was a great movie. Like the amount of culture in it, bro. Like you said, like being from the South, like I was just watching it, like, yo, this is dope, bro. Like this is real Southern shit right here, bro. Like real Southern shit. And like it had the inevitable sadness of old black stuff. Like, oh yeah, his accent was horrible. I wasn't even gonna speak on that. I really don't like watching stuff from the past when it comes to black people because there's a sadness, bro. Like, like I said, people focused on the vampire stuff of it, but I'm like, when they actually started having conversations, I'm like, this is sad, bro. Like, they went to Chicago to try to be free. Like he said, he's like, man, that shit the same as down here. They just got tall buildings. You go up there to try to be free. You gotta come back because life ain't thought you it ain't what you thought it was. It was like they had no escape no matter what they did, bro. They bought the juke joint. They were gonna get waxed by the Klan. Like as it was revealed, they were gonna get killed by the Klan anyways. So had the vampires not come and turn them to vampires, they were gonna get slaughtered by the Klan anyways. So it was like no matter what those twins did, their life was fucked. And the rest of them too. So that's why like, yeah, people talked about them being sinners and dying as vampires and stuff. And I'm like, y'all don't get it, bro. They were gonna die anyways. No matter what they did, they were gonna die. And that's sad, bro. That's sad. People were just looking for a good time because life was so hard. So I guess I guess there's a lot of different takeaways from that shit. But yeah, that's like slave movies, bro. At some point, I just like stopped wanting to watch them, bro. Cause I'm like, there's actually no happy ending to these movies. You could be like, oh, he could still be in slavery, but it's like, okay, he's out of slavery and he's living this kind of life now where it's like not a great life. And it's like, okay, I guess he's free. I guess there's a happy ending, I guess. But like if you know history, then you know he wasn't really free. So Axel said it sounded real to me. There's like a you have to be from the South to hear it, but there's like a fake Southern accent where you just go way too hard, and it's like, yeah, you doing too much, bro. Way too much. But yeah, I mean, overall, he did good. All the accents are pretty good. Ooh, ooh. Definitely got cringy. You could definitely tell he not from the South like that. But yeah, he is a great actor for sure. I think probably the most that's the most versatile I've seen him be. Normally he's like playing a version of Michael B. Jordan, but I was like, yo, all right, like he's playing twins with slightly different personalities, got a southern accent going. I'm like, this is some actual acting he's doing right now. I mean, I think he acted well in Fruitvale Station too, but like I said, I think all those characters are like an offshoot of his personality, right? I think this was some real good acting by him. I enjoyed it. Couple crazy scenes. Oh, that was the other thing. Grace, the Asian lady. I don't actually know what she was, so I don't want to say a specific nationality. But the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I was like, man, she a hoe for real. I was kind of mad at first, but I think I went hard on her. I think everybody on the internet went hard on her too. because they made like a whole like oh yeah, this is like typical non-black minorities. They act like they're on your side, and when times get hard, they fuck you over. But I was like, yo, her daughter was actually in town though. Like most people would do anything for their kids. And so Remick was acting like he was gonna go. Well, at least she thought. She was like, no, he actually did say it. He said, yeah, we're going to town and kill everybody, including your daughter. So she thought that there was a chance that her daughter was gonna get killed. And she wanted to act on it. And you could say, oh well, everybody died anyways. Like he could have gone into town after he killed all of them and killed her too. But I'm like, bro, like it's one thing to fail. It's another thing to not do anything when your daughter's life is on the line. Like actually, like even though what she did was like illogical, it's logical in the sense that she was taking action to try to save her daughter's life. Yeah. You already knew she's gonna crash out. So yeah, the only thing I thought was like, she opened the door and let them in. That was kind of nuts, right? But like I said, you're not gonna really be thinking logical. You're more like, let's get it cracking. Let's just do something. Because if we just sit here, they're gonna go into town and kill my kid. And so, like I said, in the theater, I remember me and Axel was like, man, fuck this bitch. But now I take more time to think about it. I'm like, yeah, not even just your daughter, bro. Like, if Axel was a few houses down and somebody said, all right, stay in there. If you do, I'm gonna go kill your wife. I'll open up the door. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I thought I was gonna die, I'll be like, well, I can't just sit here and let you go do that. You know what I mean? Like you might kill both of us, but I gotta go down swinging. You know what I'm saying? Versus, okay, I stay safe in here and I come out in the daytime and my daughter's dead. Nah, that's crazy. So I definitely think you can let me die. No, you sound like my mom. Mike, when I was a kid, I think I told my wife this already. When I was a kid, my mom used to be like, if someone breaks into this house, no matter what you hear, you stay in your room. And I was like, no. It's like, you think I'm just gonna stay here and like listen to you die? That's crazy. This is like when my dad was on deployment and stuff. Obviously, if he was here, she would have said that, but just random times. Yeah, you don't hug out my mom too much. Yeah. See, my dad and my mom were the complete opposite. My dad would call me from Iraq and he'll be like, hey, I know you're only 11 years old, you the man of the house. Somebody break in the house, you lock your mom in a room and you fight to the death. I just be like, bro, what the fuck am I gonna do against a grown man? I'm like, I'm 11, bro. He like, nah, you the man of the house while I'm gone. So you need to be prepared to fight. And I'm just thinking back. I'm like, what did my dad actually think I was gonna do at 11 years old, bro? Yeah, I did too. I used to be thinking about ways. We still got a baseball bat in the house, bro. We got a baseball bat. I used to have kitchen knives in my room. I used to be on go, bro. Cause our like it's 2025 now. I don't think we had no alarm like malfunctions since I can remember. But back in those days, alarm systems were new. Man, the fucking wind would blow the window and the alarm would go off, bro. And we'll be like, oh shit. It'd be like, woo, woo, woo. I'd be like, someone just broke in. And I'll throw my little sister under the bed. I grab my big butcher knife from under my pillow. I'll be creeping around the walls and I'll be like, all right, as soon as I see somebody, I just gotta just run at him and start, bah, bah, bah. That should never happen. And probably if I saw somebody, I would have started running anyways. But I definitely thought I was gonna be a hero. Yeah, dog. Our alarm went off a couple times when I was 11, bro. I remember my heart used to be in my stomach, bro. I used to be like, no, like it's really happening right now. I used to be like, it's really cracking, bro. That shit happened a couple times. I remember this one specific time, nobody was here except my little sister. I probably was 13 around this time. Man, that shit went off. We was falling over each other, like pushing each other. Like I was like, get in the room, get in the room. But like it happened while we were walking. So like we both kind of like collapsed from the noise and like just like bumping into each other, trying to run to the room and stuff. Like that shit was scary, bro. I think I'd rather hear someone busting the door down than that alarm. Cause the alarm is so loud, bro. Like that shit really that shit really get it really gets your adrenaline pumping, bro. And your heart be beating so fast. I'm like, oh, I'm about to fucking have a heart attack, bro. Like so I feel for anybody that had like a real kick door experience. I don't even know how people stay calm in them situations, bro. Like I know people that have like really had their doors kicked down, people with guns like coming to rob the place and shit. Like, yeah, that's scary. You know, that alarm fucked us up, bro. If I heard that today, it probably would take me back to those days. I'd probably be traumatized. Good times. Good times. Speaking of good times, Florida Evans, probably the worst TV moms ever exist. Personal opinion. Honestly, Good Times probably wouldn't have been such like they wouldn't have had such a hard life if they didn't have Florida Evans as their mom. Personal opinion. I'll never forget. I think it's a pretty popular opinion actually. The episode, and I don't remember how much money it was because you know this is like the '60s or some shit, right? But they found like I'm gonna just say $2,000 in like a wallet, and she forced the family to give it back. They turned it into the police instead of keeping it. And I just remember looking up the inflation shit, and I'm like, oh, this was like $40,000 back then. Like they could have paid their rent for the year and all of this shit. They gave it back, and the husband, James Evans, was gonna be on the news, and they were all around the TV. They're like, oh, let's see what the reward he gets is. Hopefully, they're gonna give him $500 of it, and blah 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 for being a good person. And they were watching, and like the mayor shook his hand, and like, we're gonna give James Evans $20 as a voucher for groceries. And like all of their faces dropped. And I was like, fuck you turn the money in for, dog. Like, Mike, when you coming back? Great question. I have my camera send me an alert if anyone shows up on the camera at night. One night a cat ran through. He woke up like 007 in here. I'm doing a cross-country road trip either in December or next summer. I'll be there then. I'm scared to fly right now. Serious, but not serious. Actually, he's dead serious. Don't let him lie with the not serious part. Mike, y'all both got anxiety, bro. You and my wife. But your anxiety might be stronger. He dead serious. But nah, that's cool. Bro, I'm telling you, we trying to get out to Guatemala sometime before the end of the year. You need to come out there, bro. Not to put her business out there, but I actually got like a rich uncle in Guatemala, bro. We're just gonna be like, hey, we need another room. Nah, Axel's not afraid to fly, but she be getting anxiety about random shit. Y'all both got anxiety, but yeah, about different things for sure. Yours is more, Mike, yours is more of a danger anxiety. Axel's is more of a random anxiety. Like, Axel be like, oh, bro, you want to know something that happened the other day? Like, our truck has auto lights, bro. You don't ever have to turn the lights off. Like, you just leave it on auto, and the lights come on at nighttime. So I'm driving at nighttime in Austin. I'm like, man, this road looks dark as fuck, bro. The police pulled me over, like, hey, you need to turn your lights on, dude. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I look, the lights are on off, bro. I immediately knew it was her. I don't even think I asked. I think I was like, why you be turning the lights off, bro? Like, why are you doing that? And I know what it is. It's because she has anxiety. She be thinking the battery's gonna die or some shit like that, bro. So she turns the lights off. But they're auto lights. Or like, yeah, the oven. She always thinks she left the oven on. She don't even be cooking. Nah, she does be cooking. I'm lying. But I'm just saying, if she didn't cook that day, she still thinks she turned the oven on. The worst part about anxiety to me, see, I'm the wrong person to talk to about anxiety because I'll tell you, I'll be like, yeah, that shit could happen though. Like, I feel you. See, like, you scared of flying? I'm like, bro, I literally just, did you see that Air India flight like last week where one person survived? It was like 221 people died. This motherfucker jumped off the plane, bro. That's why I be ready. He jumped off the plane and survived. Everybody else died. And I'm like, how's that possible? Oh, yeah, Mike, you got anxiety, bro. You got anxiety. You and Axel, y'all can start a group chat. You got anxiety. She's talking about, hey, my God, Mike, y'all be doing the same shit. Hey, you know, anxiety. Dude jumped out right before the fire exploded. I still don't understand the story. I literally watched him all burnt up and walking away. And I'm like, how could one person do that? Like, how did he know that he needed to jump? Like, that shit really was falling to the ground, crashed and blew up. Like, at what moment did he jump out? That's what I want to know. He couldn't have jumped when it was like 1,000 feet in the air. He would have died. So, like, he jumped when it was pretty close to the ground. But, like, how would you know that you needed to jump? But that's what I'm saying. Okay, you jumped when right before it makes impact. Like, how you know you needed to jump? Like, what in his mind made him think like, yeah, this plane's not gonna survive the impact. I gotta jump right now. And like, you think any of the flight attendants were like, sir, sit down. What are you doing? After the initial impact. See, that's what I'm saying though. I feel like that would be scarier, bro. Like, if you hit something, I feel like my instinct's not gonna be to jump out of the plane. That's like if you hit something with your car and you jump out of the car. I think the logical thing would be to sit there. I don't know. I gotta look up the story, man. More time has passed now. Maybe there'll be more details. But like, I saw videos of him like moments after it blew up, bro. Like, people posted it. They're like, yo, a plane just blew up. And then like 2 minutes later, people were like, yo, this guy said he was in seat A11. And I'm like, this shit is not real, bro. Like, this shit is not real. And then he was like, yeah, I jumped before the plane landed. And I'm like, you jumped? Like, literally everyone was like, what? Like, I don't know, bro. But I'm just saying, there were 222 passengers. 221 died. He's the lone survivor. Like, what made him say, oh, yeah, these motherfuckers stupid. I'm jumping out of this bitch. No, Mike, I don't know. Like I said, I watched it on the first day that it happened, bro. You know how much information happens like the first couple hours of something. Like, he could have said anything. He could have been traumatized. So I actually need to look it up again because I don't know. But I know that everyone on the plane died except him. But he definitely said he jumped. The first day he said he jumped. That's why everyone was like, bro, what? Like, no parachute? You just jump? And either way, even if it did, like, if it landed, he just decided to get out alone. Like, why did he do that? You know what I mean? And why did nobody follow him? They were just like, this motherfucker's stupid, bro. Axel said the Holy Spirit whispered. Something whispered. I don't know. That's some Final Destination shit. I wouldn't be able to sleep comfortably after that. I'd be like, I'm definitely supposed to be dead right now. Bro, the way I see it, bro, you don't got no control over that, dog. Like, I see a news story every day, and I'm talking about every day of somebody getting killed in Austin from traffic, from either getting T-boned, head-on collisions from drunk drivers. Every time I drive to Austin, I just be like, yo, one of those motherfuckers could run into me, bro. But that shit could happen here. That shit could happen anywhere, bro. Like, I literally can't just like not drive because somebody might crash into me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's the same for planes. Like, that's what I said. I'm the worst person to talk to for anxiety stuff because I'm like, nah, that shit could happen, bro. Like, yeah, I'm like, that shit could really happen. I don't think your anxiety's fake. I think you got a legitimate concern there. But you just can't stop living life because of that shit. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The dude swerved into our lane. It's in Austin. That should be happening. Actually, I was driving with Axel the other day, bro. Like, people be like sleep at the wheel, like merging without looking, and I just like I think when we came back from the Angelo Colina concert, there was a dude in front of us that was literally like just drifting onto the shoulder, and then he would get back on. And I was like, yeah, he gotta be drunk, bro. I was like, I'm not getting beside him because I don't know what he's gonna do, so I'd rather be behind him. But he was literally just, and I was like, yeah, gotta be drunk. So, I mean, like I said, can't stop driving, like, cause somebody might crash into you, cause that shit's just anything, bro. Like, I was telling my coworkers today, cause I guess they didn't know, so I probably amped up their anxiety. I was like, yeah, I've survived 2 massacres on this base. And they're like, on this base? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, y'all didn't know? I'm like, 2009 and 2014. We had mass shootings on this base, bro. I'm talking about like hella people dead. Like, not like 2. I'm talking about like 20 plus people shot. And they're like, on this base? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I actually knew the first dude. Like, I'm not gonna stop going on the base. I'm not gonna not go to work. I'm just cautious. I'm just paying attention to people's mental health because people are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Paying attention to people that drive back home from work to check the oven. You feel me? So drop into your death from an airplane. So that's a little illogical. I have to tell you that one. It's a little illogical. Getting life insurance is giving you peace, so you're not afraid of dying. You're afraid of the potential of what could happen after death. At least if I die, you get money. Hey, that's how I used to think in the army because I had the $400,000 life insurance option with the 100,000 funeral bonus option. I used to be like, yo, my mom's gonna get stacks if I die, bro. I was already out of the military with me. I actually got married, so that was never an option. But I was like, yeah. I was like, yo, your life insurance is 400K. Or are you talking about mine? Talk you through why it's illogical to fall out of a fucking plane, bro? Who do you know that's fell out of a plane? Yours is? Oh, I didn't know your life insurance is 400K. Me and Mike have to team up. Get you out of here. Okay, not fall out. All right, Mike, what define it just so I can know for sure. Don't implicate me in your crime. A plane falling from the sky? So it's not illogical. It's unlikely. I don't think it's illogical. I don't think it's any more illogical than being a part of a mass shooting, right? But what's the chances that you're actually a part of a mass shooting? Not high. As much as like we might see it on TV, um, the chances that you're actually gonna be involved in a mass shooting are low, bro. There's 400 million people in the country. You know, we live our lives every single day. I've never been a part of a mass shooting. I'm guessing you haven't either. I've been tied to mass shootings, right? So like I said, I've been here when mass shootings happen, but I haven't like been there when they're shooting. Like, oh shit, like they're doing a mass shooting right now. No, my parents were on the base when the first one happened. The second one, I was just here, but I wasn't a part of it. So the chances of us being involved in a plane falling from the sky, hella low. Could it happen? Yes. That's why I said it's unlikely. I think it's I don't think like I said, I don't think it's illogical. And I think accepting that it's realistic, I think accepting that it's possible is probably better than like trying to lie to yourself and say that it could never happen. It can happen. But just like most things, like I said, I just think it's out of your control, bro. It's like a car crash. Like is it likely that you'll get in a car crash tomorrow? No. Is it logical to say that I might get into a car crash? No, it's not illogical to say that. But you still gotta drive to work. You know what I'm saying? Like it reminds me of this has happened a few times actually. Soldiers will deploy, they will survive combat. And I'm talking about real deal combat, getting shot at, shooting back, killing people, and they come home and they die in car accidents like the week they get home. It's sad, right? But like, you know, their family's probably scared to death when they're at war and they get home and they're like, my baby's safe and they die. You know what I'm saying? Because you think that this way of dying is basically improbable. It's unlikely. It's not going to happen. And this other thing that you're thinking about so much is actually less likely. Like the chance that you're going to get killed in war is not actually super high because of the way that we fight wars. You do have a good chance of dying in a car accident if you get in one. You know what I'm saying? So actually got life insurance. That is crazy. Hey, but that's a coping mechanism. If that's something that you have to do to feel better about it, like, yo, my family's gonna be set up. Like, that's good. That's something. Cause to me, like, I think I'm the same way. I'm not afraid of dying. Like, I just don't. I be thinking about all the possible after effects. Like even my mom has anxiety too. When she talks about dying, my mom don't never say she's scared of dying. My mom says, "What are you and your sisters gonna do if I die? Y'all are not gonna be able to survive without me." And I'll be like, first of all, I'm a grown man. She really be acting like I just wouldn't be able to feed myself if she was dead. Access heard her say stuff like this. She'd be like, "No, like you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't even be able to pay." I'm like, you think I ain't never paid rent before? Like, you really think I'm just gonna die if you die? That's insane, first of all. But like, that's how my mom sees me as a baby. So that's what my mom talks about. She talks about what will happen to us if she died, not if she dies. So probably, Mike, you might be thinking something like that too. You're probably not actually afraid of dying. You're probably thinking about some second order effect of dying. And so, like Axel said, if you address that, it might actually help your anxiety. If you like, oh, this person will be lost without me, or they'll be broke or something. You know, you get life insurance. It's like, all right, cool. My family's gonna be set up. I'm not actually that worried about dying. I get rid of the echo. It's the legit 5-second descent. Well, bro, if it helps, you ain't gonna have no time to think about that shit, bro. But that shit would happen so fast, you'll pass out, bro. You would have no time to think about that shit. That's why I didn't believe old dude that jumped out. I'm like, I did watch the plane. It was going down like relatively slow because they never got up into the sky, right? So that India plane, it took off and the like engines gave out like as soon as it took off, and so like it basically did this. It never went anywhere. It just got high enough to break. Basically, I think it got like 5 or 6 stories high. So, I mean, if you actually get into the air, bro, if your shit nosedives, you're cooked, bro. You don't have a chance. Like, you're not gonna just be screaming on the way down. You're probably gonna like brace real hard and pass out and be gone. Like, cause you're gonna pass out and you'll be dead. When you make impact, you'll already be unconscious. That's why they be telling you to like try to hurry up and put your oxygen mask on and shit. But people don't. They're not even gonna get it on fast enough. Like you gonna die, bro. I wouldn't be worried about that shit. Like I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't think it's illogical, but I think it's improbable for sure. I think it's very unlikely. Um, I just yeah, I think you're good, bro. You're good, man. You're not gonna have that 5 second descent. Don't worry. I'm guessing you don't like watching Final Destination movies because they be having shit like that in there. Oops. Do, 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 do. You better not get rid of Muñeco. That's a stipulation. Bro, Muñeco's old. I'm not gonna get rid of him. Wow, I said I was gonna stay on for an hour. I'm almost at 2 hours. I wonder who the 7 people in the chat are. I'm seeing if I have a good green screen. I have no good green screens. Bro, been watching pilot videos. Yeah, we need to get you some medication, dog. We need to get you some medication. Mike, are you against taking anxiety meds? You seem like a person that would be like, nah, I'm not trying to take no meds. That's most people. I don't need the meds. I think that's what all people that need meds say. I'm not saying that you do need them, but that is exactly what everyone says. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Most black people, what? Most black people are against taking meds. Is that what you're saying, Axa? Because that's true. Most minorities, period. You grabbed one of the flight attendants by the arm. Yeah, you got crazy anxiety, bro. Crazy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm never gonna be the one to push meds on people. AXA can help you with that, but I'm not gonna lie, bro. I mean, AXA can speak to that because she's taken meds before and she works in a clinic. But I do know from her and other people that I know that have taken meds, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. They basically say they couldn't know that they should have taken meds until they take meds. And they're like, oh shit, like this is what other people are thinking like. And they're like, yeah, I was tripping. How long is it though? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. This is a conversation for AXA. Oh, survey. Yeah, see those little surveys, even though I don't really know what it says, I know that people take it and they think that they're giving they think they're giving normal responses, and it's like, yeah, dog, that's not how normal people think. It's like it reminds me, like in the army, we have to take a survey every year, or I should say we had to. You gotta take a survey every year. It's about your mental health and like emotional well being and shit. People will be like, yo, I got flagged somehow. I'd be like, why? And they're like, I don't know. Like, they'd be like, what did you answer for the questions? And I'll be like, I don't, like, what did you answer? And I'd be like, no, I just answer like the normal shit. Like, where it says, like how many times you think about killing yourself? And I didn't even put, I just put like one time a week. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why you got flagged, bro. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because you think about killing yourself one time a week. And they're like, well, I actually think about it like 5 times, but I was just putting one so that I didn't get flagged. I'm like, yeah, I put zero. I put zero because I don't be thinking about that shit. And they'll be like never? And I'm like, yeah, nah, bro. Like, that's not a thought. And they're like, no, but you think about it, but you're just not taking it seriously. And I'd be like, nah, like I'm not thinking about that, bro. And I'd be like, well, everyone thinks about it like daily, but you just say like, nah, I can't do that. And I'll be like, yeah, no, can't, no, dude, I don't think about it. And so the thing is, like, if that's your baseline, if that's like what's normal for you, you're not gonna even know that it might not be like a quote unquote normal. Yeah, see, I actually said I said every day. That's what I'm saying. People take them surveys and be like, oh, I thought everyone thought like this. See, it's Mike, the thing is, bro, how I feel and how I act are totally different. Cause you can ask it, bro. If I do feel nervous, it's not reflected in my energy, bro. Cause I dead ass go to sleep before the plane takes off. So I wake up when the plane lands. And I'll be like, oh wow. So like I'm not gonna act like, oh, Axel said check my phone. Okay, I'll send it to you, Mike. I'm not gonna act like I don't get nervous. I think about the stuff that you're talking about, but it's more like a passing thought. You know what I mean? If I wasn't talking to you, this conversation wouldn't be happening because it's not something that would deter me from flying. It's not something that I would really think about outside of like in that moment. What you couldn't sleep on a flight shorter than 5 hours, bro? I'll be like, ask Axel, bro. I'll be falling asleep. Like if we flew to Houston and that shit was like an hour and a half, I would sleep for that whole flight, bro. Like dead ass. Hold on, I'm gonna forward you this thing. Yeah, nah, I do not be wide awake. What did I click? Why is it green? The fuck? Yeah, nah, bro. That shit could be a 45-minute flight. I'd be knocked out. I'd be knocked out, bro. I'd be using that shit for naps. Nah, I told you the only flight I ever been like crazy nervous on is when I went to Germany the last time and like it was a snowstorm and shit and the pilot couldn't see the ground. But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even like illogical or nothing like that. Like we dead ass smacked the ground as hard as possible because he didn't know where, like he didn't know he was getting that close to the ground. So like the bumpiness going in and him saying like this is gonna be a rough landing. I was like, oh fuck, like I didn't know if he was like trying not to scare us and it was gonna be way rougher than it was. So he kind of gave me anxiety by his statement. Okay, Mike's doing the survey now. See, my thing with surveys is like I was just telling you about the army surveys. I'm like, if you know what the survey is for, see, I'm not I'm not a statistician and I don't know terms, but I feel like knowing what the survey is for deters you from fully answering truthfully because you're like, if I get this score, it's gonna sound like this. So I'm gonna mark this as a 2 instead of a 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that's called, but I know that that's definitely a thing. At my last job, we had to do like a personality test, and I basically circled all the stuff that I knew was going to lead to me being introverted and a tactician. So I'm like, yeah, this probably is a 5, but I'm gonna click 3 because it says this is closer to being a tactician. Act's about to be like, the average score is 0. You have severe anxiety if you circle more than 2. I didn't even look at the thing. I don't know what the numbers are. Damn, I should have looked at the questions. Oh, she said it's actually pretty low. Hold on, let me look at this shit. Honestly, putting 3 on 7 should automatically get you a consultation. They wouldn't follow you up with that? Nah, hell no. If I was a doctor, I'd be like, bro, every day? I'd be like, yeah, come see me, bro. Come see me at 5 p.m. Yeah, you do live in Atlanta, though. I give you a pass. You got 21. What the? Hold on, I gotta look at the questions again. What the fuck? There's only 7 questions. You marked 3 on every single one? What the fuck? I was like, hold on, I must have missed the second set of questions. You clicked 3 on everything? Yeah. Yeah, they should have just gave you, they should have just forced you to take pills that day. I would have like put it, I would have forced you to take a pill right then if you marked 21. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on, I gotta look at the questions one more time. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie though, like those questions are incredibly vague. I don't need to be a doctor. Yeah, that's why I'm not a doctor. I would be like, hey yo, you marked you marked 3 on there. You marked 3 on any one of those. You need to come see me. You need to come see me. Honestly, I probably would have marked 0 on all them hoes. Just being truthful. I have to look at the questions again, but from what I saw on there, I'm just like, yeah, I ain't think about none of that shit. So, damn, so you asked me my score? Hold on, let me actually go look. So, Mike, I'll say my score is 1 or 2, just because, like, see, the thing is, I found the culprit, though. Like, I did have trouble relaxing when I was trying to go to sleep a couple days ago, but the thing is, I started taking ZQuil to try to force myself to go to sleep earlier, and I found that I got some kind of reaction to it. So it makes my heart rate increase. I don't know why. And then I can't fall asleep because my heart's fucking beating. Um, so that's the only one I would have marked. Everything else I'd have marked 0. Like, I'm not worried about nothing or nothing. So you probably have high anxiety. I'm too afraid to be diagnosed with anything. Bro, you're afraid of being diagnosed. Anxiety. Come see me in my office. You for sure not taking any opioids. Is it opioids? Is that what people with anxiety take? Ax is the expert. We gotta ask her. You definitely have high anxiety though, bro. I'm the resident non-anxiety expert here, so if I tell you you have anxiety, it's probably true. Considering learning Haitian Creole. Oh wow. I think if it interests you, like I mean, you have to decide what you want to do for your life. For me, languages would be a combination of utility and interest. So if I'm around it and I think like the culture is interesting and I could see like um I could see myself using it with them. Like there's something about I don't know what it is about Spanish in particular, but when I hear Spanish speakers, it's like I'm like I want to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? I like the music, I like the culture that most of them have and stuff like that. You have to decide like if you would want to. Okay, yeah. So you have so many Haitian students every year and stuff like that. Yeah, like I've heard Haitian Creole spoken and it doesn't really do anything for me. But I don't really know anyone that will be using it either. So like the utility aspect is definitely something. When I meet people that speak a certain language. As a matter of fact, there's a dude in Austin. He's a weightlifter that I used to program for. So I used to make his personal training and stuff. So he was my online client. He lives in Austin, married a Brazilian chick, brought her over here. So he speaks fluent Portuguese. He's a white dude, he speaks fluent Portuguese. His wife's from Brazil, speaks fluent Portuguese, and he's like, "Hey, you and your wife should come out here next weekend. Um, it's like Brazil Day in Austin or something." He's like, "It's like a festival. We go out, we drink, we're gonna eat Brazilian food, we're gonna dance to like Brazilian funk and all this other stuff." I could see myself. So like, if I went out there and like we vibed with them, and I'm like, damn, like they both speak Portuguese. I could see myself wanting to learn because I'll be like, oh, I fuck with the music, I like this. Um, I would like be interested in, you know, wanting to communicate with them. But like other languages, like French doesn't do it for me. Italian doesn't do it for me. Like I hear it and I'm just saying, yeah, nah. In Spanish, it's just called francés. I would imagine that it's called Creole, bro, like criollo. But I don't know. I've never said Haitian Creole in Spanish before, so it's a stigma with mental health medicine. Yeah, I mean, every person that I've ever known that has some kind of mental health stuff going on, like the first thing they say is like, "Nah, I'm not trying to get on meds though," and I'd be like, "But why?" They'd be like, "Yeah, I'm just not trying to. Nah, I'm not trying to do that shit." I'd be like, "Okay, but like, why though?" So, and you know, it's easy for me to say because I'm not dealing with it and I don't have to take the meds, but I've known a handful of people that have gotten on meds and it has improved the quality of their life. So I'm an advocate. My friend's fiance is Haitian. I've been spending a lot of time with them. I think that's what it is. I'm just talking for real. Uh, Criollo has a totally different meaning in Spanish. It depends on what you're talking about, though, bro. It has a different meaning in a lot of places. One second. Yeah, I mean, Twitter says Criollo Haitiano, so I'm just gonna go with that. Oh yeah, Mike just said that too. Rolando disagreed with AXA, but I think AXA was just talking about what people normally say. So you just fell into her trap, Rolando. Just got my C1 test prep book. Yo, Mike, you know Giselle got a C2, bro. She just took like a Oxford something and got a C2. I was like, damn. Yeah, Rolando fell right into that trap. That was crazy. Yeah, actually, I think she got a C1 on like the speaking or something, but she got a C2 on the listening. I don't know. I'll ask her for her results and forward it to you. But I was like, wow, good job. Very impressed. Very impressed. All right, Mike's out. I'm gonna go 7 more minutes just so I can make it to. Oh damn! I already made it to 2 hours. I'm tripping, but I'm just gonna go to 130 minutes. I don't even know what that is, but that's an even number for me, so I'm just gonna stay on for 7 more minutes. Axa took mental health meds for 2 years and she defeated them. Why she's not taking them anymore? I'm not sure. She must have beat them. Hey man, there are pros and cons to everything, so like I said, I'm an advocate for mental health meds, but I have heard stories. Nah, hell nah, she was not gonna be fine without them. I don't even need her to answer that. I was living with her, bro. So I can tell you for sure. She was not gonna be fine. We probably would not be married right now. I think that's another thing too. I think when you're alone, you can gaslight yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have anyone to like be accountable to. You don't have anyone to be like, hey yo, that's fucked up what you're doing. Actually, it's true. Yo, like me and Axa we've been through things. You know what I'm saying? So like I think our relationship has always been good, but anxiety has caused some problems in the beginning of our relationship. Definitely after she started taking meds, things definitely got better. But yeah, I think when you're by yourself, you can definitely compensate in a lot of different areas and say like, oh well, that's just that person and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? It definitely was not the placebo effect, bro. Definitely not. Anxiety. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. But I think it's kind of like I think it's like being on the autistic spectrum. Like this dude I train right now is on the autistic spectrum. I don't think he knew it, but his kids are like nonverbal and on the autistic spectrum. They're like geniuses, but they don't talk that much ever and like blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, like you're probably on the spectrum too. And he's like, yeah, I was thinking that. And I'm like, yeah, like you're a crazy nerd that says weird stuff. Like, you're definitely on the spectrum, bro. And so I just told him, like I told other people that I've met that are adults on the spectrum, I'm like, you've already made it this far in life, bro. Like, you've probably figured out ways to cope with the quote unquote problems that you have. But that doesn't mean that you don't necessarily need meds. Like, you probably could benefit from them, especially if you're gonna get into a relationship with someone and share space with them, because like those problems are gonna amplify things. So yeah, man, it's not a bad idea. I don't know what you're so scared of. I don't know why you're so scared with getting diagnosed with something and potentially having to take meds. Why are you scared of improving your life, bro? Why are you scared of improving your life? Oh, wow, I passed up some more time. 2 more minutes. I guess they're not the devil. Yeah, no, they're not, bro. Bipolar is heavy, though. Depression is one thing. Depression and bipolar is like, oof, that's tough. Axa never sends another message, so I'm guessing she's gonna fuck me up when I come into the room, so. There's that. Definitely. That's not nice. Good thing I can fight. Anxiety, anxiety. Dun, 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 dun. We got 1 more minute, y'all. This is a good stream. Very productive. We got 2 potential clients for AXA. Give you guys some opioids. Destroy your brain. Make drool come out. I think I have ADHD. My mind jumps from thoughts to thoughts. I think you can't diagnose yourself. I think everyone's mind jumps from thoughts to thoughts. Mine jumps from thoughts to thoughts too. But I think if you have those thoughts, man, and you think you need to get diagnosed, you probably should talk to someone, man. Your whole life might change, bro. You might get on meds and just like become the most productive person in society. You know what I'm saying? So consider it. Consider it. All right, Rolando, do you have anything you want to say before I end the stream? You'll get obsessed with something only to not care about it a minute later. Yeah, that could definitely be some spectrum work, along with ADHD. Usually, those 2 things like go together, so that's not surprising either. Rolando, you have my number. If you ever need anything, I don't know. Did you send me that trailer? But outside of the trailer, if you need anything, if you need some meds, we'll ask AXA to send you some in the mail. Outside of that, I'm gonna go to bed now. Peace out. A-Town down.